All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing today? Well, I suppose good morning or good evening, depending where you are in the world today. We live in a global world, kind of social media world anyway, that is very global. So, welcome to another episode of the Conversations with Dune and Friends. My name is Dune Wynn, and today we have a very special friend joining us, very special guest. Mike Braniff is going to join us. Mike Braniff, I'm going to bring you on camera in just a moment here, Mike. Perhaps I would just do a quick introduction here, and then Mike can fill in some more details for us as he joins us here. But Mike Braniff is a full-time entertainer, musician for 38 years. Now, count them, folks, 38 years. He is a lead vocalist, guitarist, bassist, and keyboardist as well. With a diverse background and career in music, he continues to enjoy a 20-year solo act as the Party Hog. The Party Hog. The Party Hog. Currently, he is the lead singer of the Edmonton band Chrome. So Chrome is just like the browser Chrome. Additionally, he is the producer and engineer of the what's called At the Crossroads Blues radio show. Lastly, he is the writer-producer of the Party Hog Basement Show. So lots of different diverse background and musical experiences to share, and business and all of those things. And we might even have some cat videos thrown in for good measure. So with that introduction, I would like you to join me and welcome our special guest today, Mr. Mike Braniff.
Hi there, everybody. Thanks
Hi,
for
how
having
are
me
you?
here today, dude.
Thank you, and great that you. What's the cat's name?
That's Semenko Dave. He's the loudmouth He's my road manager and basement show producer. He's the one
Cool.
that does all the magic behind the scenes and stuff. And I'm surprised he's not very ornery right now. He's doing pretty good, but I'll let him. Bye bye, Dave.
Yeah. Quick question: could one of our viewers just confirm that our voices are coming through at about the right level, and if the audio is good, if you could confirm that, that would be great. We have some viewers watching. Mike, we already have 14 viewers online here at the moment.
Wow,
We're
good.
just getting rolling here. So while I'm waiting for a friend of ours out there just confirming that the sound is good, perhaps, Mike, you could maybe give us a bit of an expanded introduction. I know you have lots of variations or sort of evolution of the Party Hog. Maybe talk a bit about a bit of a history, if you will, before we get into some specific questions.
You bet. The magic all kind of started when I was in grade 11, I guess, and I uh, did something called the Grad Variety Show in Kamloops, BC, where I was in high school. Uh, the girl I was dating at the time was joking to the music teacher about what a great singer I was,
Mm-hmm.
and I was always the class clown. He laughed. We had a joke, and then he dragged me into the room. He started playing a song on piano, and I sang it, and he put me in the show. We did the show that night, 1,200 students at the theater. I walked out on stage and I was about to start singing Waiting for a Girl Like You by Foreigner. And as soon as they introduced me, the entire place started laughing because, my reputation was, like I said, the class clown. They thought I was going to do something silly on stage. I started singing. It was for real. And by the third line of the song, the place erupted into a big round of applause. And I pretty much quit school a few months later, joined a rock band, went on the road, and that's how it all started. We just hit the road, didn't look back, wanted to be famous. Never really happened, but we did as much as we could. Did an Ozzy tribute band, did a Pretty Boy band. That evolved into the Ozzy show. Played Ozzy Osbourne in a tribute band, and just everything through the 90s. Played bass in this band, and I was just too stubborn to get a real job. So if it meant I had to play rhythm guitar and keyboards for this band to keep a job going and stay on stage, I would do it. If I had to let somebody else be lead singer and I did backups, I was happy with that. I loved that job. If I was asked to play bass in a band, and I said I'd never played bass before, but I hunkered down and worked really hard at it, and I admit it, that I was terrible bass player, average bass player for the first 4 or 5 years, but then started to get a little bit better at it. But then the scene kind of dried up, and you go from playing 6 nights a week to five, four, then 3 nights a week, and you go from 5 guys in your band down to 3 guys, down to a duo, and then you end up being the only one left.
Mhm.
And you go up playing solo, playing for pubs. Again, I'm just too stubborn to get a real job doing. I just cannot get off stage. This is all I know how to do, and this is all I want to do with my life. So may as
Mhm.
well. I've had to make a lot of sacrifices. I don't have a nice boat or a nice motorcycle or anything like that, but that's the price you pay for having this type of job and this type of career, and being able to meet thousands of people, and making their lives a little bit better for a few minutes anyway. You hope.
Mhm. Yeah, that's awesome. I look at the some of your video clips and all the websites and all the marketing that you've done. By the way, our friends have confirmed that the sound is coming through good, so we're good to
Great.
go. I see that the overhead light is really shining on your forehead there. So I don't know if there's a way to tame that a little bit, but yeah.
Maybe run a video real quick, and I'll dim
Yeah,
that maybe a
you
little
bet.
more.
While we run the next video, we'll deal with that. But
You betcha.
maybe without further delay, I'm going to run the first video. So we're going to be like the Back to the Future. We're going to start at the present, and then we're going to go
Awesome.
back all the way 38 years. That should fill up the hour, hey? So we're
That's
going to
great.
start with the present, where one of your key projects is with, in fact, Chrome, the band, as a lead singer there. So maybe give us an intro of that while I queue up that video.
You bet. Chrome is a local Edmonton band filled with many local musicians who have been in the industry. Oh, I'm getting some help there with the lighting. No, just a
Mhm.
little more. They've just been the top players in the city for so long. I mean, I shouldn't say they're the only ones. There are many out there as well too. But I've been very fortunate that these are seasoned veterans. I was asked to come in last June to take over the lead vocal duties, and my first response was, "What the hell took you so long?" But I was real happy to be back singing as a front man once again, and kind of putting the party hog off to the side. I wanted to get back to my roots and just be a lead singer guy once again with some talented musicians, and I
Yes.
got lucky with these guys, that's for sure.
I'm going to start the video, and let me know, give me a sign if you can hear it or not hear it. So I'll be off camera here.
Sounds good. I can hear it. He's kind of cute. Mr. Rob Needham on lead guitar. My favorite lick of the song. Oh boy, they liked us. They really liked us.
That's awesome. Awesome. So tell us more about Chrome before we move on from this video.
Chrome, I'm very fortunate to play with Rob Needham on lead guitar, Brian Vincent on bass, Greg Filan on lead guitar as well, and the incomparable Eric Young on drums, who I used to play with in a band many years ago called Joe Rockhead as well too. We did some recording and played some excellent shows, but it's great to be back playing with these guys. Managed by Roxanne King here in Edmonton, and we tend to play opening act shows. We've opened for Honeymoon Suite now and Prism, as well as we like to put on our own howl parties too. We feel that, the dependency on the nightclubs, there's a lot of inconsistencies in some places that you play. I'm not really a big advocate of playing in a room that has 24 TVs playing the golf channel while the band is on. I feel that's really disrespectful to the entertainers. And there's a lot of places in town that just, they don't think about things like that. So we tend to we like to rent a hall and do our own events under the House of Seven banner, which is a local organization designed to kind of do these types of shows and events, do our own things. So we can control the sound, we can control the production, we can control the booze. We just I guess we're likely all control freaks, but at least we know what a good event involves, and that's what we want to do is be able to put that on. And a lot of times venues will fall short. They just, you guys are here tonight, okay, go set up over there, we'll pay you at the end. So we try to take a little more pride and we're not dummies. We're a cover band. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here or become the new Beatles or anything like that. But the truth is that we grew up in the 80s where the production values were quite extensive. And that's really kind of gone by the wayside a lot lately. So we have an excellent lighting producer that comes out and does our shows for us. And sound, Chuck Frank, you couldn't ask for a better sound man in the city. Loud, he's good. But it's been a fun time, and it's been very self-gratifying to be back in the lead singer position again. And I couldn't be more honored than to be sharing the stage with these guys, that's for sure.
Now, because you joined us from a iPad rather than a computer, you're not seeing the comments. So I want to read some of them out to you. By the way, when I feature the comment, do you see it on your iPad or right now?
Yes, I do. Oh, there we go. Yep. Okay. There we go.
So you can't see the
Chrome
comments.
Rocks.
You bet. Hey. You can't see the comments as they stream in, but when I feature them, you can see them. So let me just read some of the comments here. By the way, our viewers, please feel free to interact and ask Mike questions, which he can in fact respond live here as well. So Laura Bishop said hi, and Richard Tully says hello everyone, and Quinn McKendry says hey, this story should be good. Grew up around you, and so on. Let's see here. Joan Kutcher says, "Hi, Mike," and Frank said everything's good, and yeah, lots of comments sort of streaming in. But as I feature them, if you can see them, that's great. I mean, we
That'd be
can
great. Awesome.
go in that mode. So thank you for sharing that. I know we have lots of kind of videos and some photos to show and whatnot, but you are a real serious musician for the past 38 years, my friend. I look at all the websites you have, all the advertising promotion. This is a serious dude. This is not somebody who's just moonlighting. Tell us about some of the sites as I maybe pull them up, just to give the audience a sense of your music presence in our community here.
Sure. I think probably the first one would be my other namesake, Party Hog. The Party Hog was started off as a 5-piece band, and then whittled its way down to a duo as the market changed. And then in January of 2000, I went solo under the name Party Hog. And so partyhog.com is kind of the central spot where you can see a lot of my prehistoric videos. I've been very fortunate to have collected some great video clips from over the years, some pictures and stuff. So I tend to hang on to that stuff and do things with it, try and get the old publicity promo wheel going up to speed. But yeah, Party Hog's that. I've got At the Crossroads as well too, which is a blues radio show. Oh, there's the Party Hog site. Yeah, we've got all my basement shows are on there. Some other videos, my song list, bio, some other fun things too.
I'm just going to reorganize
sauces, everything. So
wonderful. I'm going to just reorganize so that website is going to be on our left. So we'll
okay. There we go. So I've got.
Yeah, tell us. I'll be off camera, but tell
Sure.
us about the websites that I pull up.
Sure. Oops. The Party Hog website. That's the main one where you can get all the Party Hog information on gigs, booking, videos. See extensive videos that I've got on my YouTube channel as well. At the Crossroads would be a syndicated blues radio show that I was working in a recording studio in Kamloops. And was offered the job and was happy to take it. I was the engineer at the recording studio at the time. We've done over 850 shows over 17 years, syndicated over 120 markets worldwide, terrestrial radio and online radio as well too. The show writer, Brant Zwicker, is the main guy. One other thing too I want to point out, I designed all these websites too. These are all my babies.
Wow.
So that's my website, and Party Hog one's all mine too. Well, I don't like paying other people to do stuff. So.
For everybody who's out there who doesn't know, Mike does everything, whether it's the MIDI and the technology around MIDI, technology about all the stage lighting, automated and scripted, everything that you see in all the hugely highly produced performances are all done by you when it comes to the Party Hog one-man show, right?
You betcha. I'm working on a track by the Headstones here today for this Saturday show. I have to program all the lighting, all the vocal effect changes, the guitar patch changes, so I don't have to use a pedal board in my performance. It just automatically changes for me. It changes the lighting scenes, the video scenes that I run on the screen behind me. I'd like to say that I did that for everybody else to see in the show, but I'll be honest with you, Dune, I did a lot of that work for myself. I'll be on stage and it'll be a Tuesday night at a bar in Grand Prairie, and it might be a little bit slow, and I'm kind of dragging through the mud a little bit to get through the night. And I tell you, when you do a song and those lights are going and the energy from the production comes out, it tends to bring you out a little bit more. So yeah, there's the blues show is something I couldn't be more proud of to be working on as well too. It's just another little side job that kind of fell into my lap, and I could not be more proud of all the shows that we've produced. It's a top-notch production. It's been difficult to get it on some Canadian radio stations and that. I not to mean sour grapes here or nothing, but a lot of the times they'll just, eh, another online radio station, but we're 850 shows deep. We've been on a lot of terrestrial radio stations as well too. So it's a very well done show. Brant does a phenomenal job, and I just kind of put the pieces together and stuff. But it's been quite the eye opener for me as a rock musician for many years. I assumed I knew what the blues were. And when I started working on this show, I started hearing much more blues music, obviously. Then I started to notice, hey, that sounds like this song by Bad Company, or this song by AC/DC, or this song by Aerosmith. And I'm like, that's when I started to realize I'd kind of been listening to a lot of the blues all my life, but it was wearing a rock and roll jacket.
Hmm.
But nowadays I'm finding a hard time listening to a lot of the old classic rock,
Hmm.
and I can't get enough of the blues stuff that we put on the show. It's a dream of mine. Eventually, the older I get, hopefully a great blues band will come along and need an awesome lead singer, and that might be my next adventure in life, I think, down the road. So
There you go. I think we can consider that a bit of a bat signal, folks. So
there we go. Yep.
Mike had just sent out a bat signal. So if you're in the neighborhood, so tell us the next website that we are gonna pull up, and you talk briefly about it here, Mike.
That would be, trying to
The
remember the
main
ones
website, MikeBraniff.com. Shall
oh,
I?
the main one. Yeah, that was just I needed one for my own personal website, just to uh let's be honest, to stroke my ego.
There you
I
go.
mean, I'll be blatantly honest. It was to stroke my ego, a place to put some decent pictures of me, to kind of mention. I needed a business card, and I thought about going out and getting some business cards done up. And I'm like, well, that's what a website is nowadays, anyway. Is your own business card. So, just very little detail about me and stuff. I haven't really put too much on the website because I am a little embarrassed by it. I do have some of my original music on there that was recorded in 2009. It's currently being tweaked just a little bit to fix one guitar solo that always bugged me, and
Mhm.
and one song that just needed a little bit of reworking as well. So I'm hoping to re-release the music later on in the year. But yeah, this was more or less just a business card website I'd set up. I designed that one myself too. Obviously, it's
Yeah,
because it's all pictures of me. So,
yeah, yeah,
but it's just to get my name out there, and to be honest, Dune, so that way I could get the email address that went with it. I
yeah.
wanted MikeBraniff.com. I just
Well, hey, that's great. So tell us, in the 38 years of doing all the different kind of music, you must have a story or two to share, either on stage story or off stage story, where we can keep the names of the innocent out of it, but be able to share an interesting story that maybe people might not run into every day. Um,
yeah, I'm trying to. I want to tell one of the stories that I probably haven't told in the basement story.
mhm.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you the story of my very first gig.
Okay.
Uh, it, it was Halloween night in 1981. I'd lied my way into my first band. I showed up at some band was having a party and a rehearsal, and they had a girl lead singer, and they said, yeah, there are five guys in the band already, plus the girl. They said, we need a keyboard player. I said, I know how to play keyboards. And they went, okay, show up the next practice next Friday and bring a keyboard with you. Well, I had a friend who had a little toy synthesizer. I learned two songs, Hiding from Love, and Remember by Bryan Adams, both Bryan Adams songs. Showed up at rehearsal, played the songs, and that was it. I was in the band. They gave me two songs to sing. So we had our very first show, Halloween night. We rented the Eagles Hall in Kamloops, British Columbia, 1981. I used to do my two songs, and then I'd have nothing else to do. So I would literally hide behind the bass amplifier. And I remember just sitting back there, hiding behind the amp, looking at the drummer going, "This is awesome. This is so awesome. I'm having so much fun." And then I just would pop up like a whack-a-mole again. I'd play my next song,
Mhm.
back down again. I went out and sang my two songs. Of course, one of them was Crazy Train. That one's been around for my whole life.
Mhm.
Um, well, what happened was that night, uh, we had an excellent night.
Mhm.
The next day, uh, well, okay, sorry, I need to back up so just a little bit. We went to go get our gear out of the rehearsal spot, and the girl I was dating at the time, God bless her, was kind of making out with a boy in their car in the parking lot. They're still together 40 years later, so I don't have a problem with it, and they're dear friends of mine. I love them both.
Mhm.
But I kind of walk in and go, man, I haven't even done the gig yet, and I've lost my girl. Uh, I drive home after the gig that night in my little Austin Mini variation car I had, and I was going up the hill, and the engine blew. So
Mhm.
I had to walk the last kilometer home, and so I lost my car. I get up the next morning at 11 a.m. and I had to go work at Zeller's restaurant. I was a cook, a short order cook there.
Mhm.
I get on the bus. I show up 45 minutes late for work. They
Mhm.
fire me. So my very first gig cost me my girlfriend, my car, and my job. True
Wow.
story, all within a 12-hour period. And that was kind of it. That was the writing on the wall. It was like, well, life can be this way or life can be that way. I
Mhm.
still could not come down from the high of that gig, even
Mhm.
though I'd lost my girl, my car, my job. It was like
Mhm.
didn't bother me one bit. So
Mhm.
off we went, joined that band. The lead singer got pregnant by the light man, so we got another girl lead singer.
Mhm.
She started dating the new light man, and she got pregnant as well. And I distinctly remember this conversation when they were sitting there. The rest of the band guys are going, "Well, why don't we just let Beef be the lead singer?" That was my nickname back there. Why don't Beef? He can be the lead singer. He can't get pregnant. And that was it. Day one, lead singer of a rock band on the road. So
There you go. Well, given that kind of difficult first day, I was surprised you didn't get into country music or
that's
something.
exactly my thought as well too. I should have had a long career in country music.
Yeah, you could have. Yeah, yeah. There's some comments streaming in here. I know Russell have said, I don't know if you can see it on screen. It says,
Yep,
yeah, he was part
I've
of your
seen a
many
few.
shows there in Fort Mac.
Russell used to him and Mike used to get on stage with me. I would make Russell sing, and Mike would take a black garbage bag, blow it up, and use it as a percussion instrument on stage.
Hmm.
It made this weird. He'd grab one end of the bag, the blown up bag, and hold it, and he'd shake it, and he'd go. "Shika, shika, 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 shika." So Russ would sing while Mike was playing the garbage bag, and we do taking care of business.
There
We've
you
done
go.
it about a dozen times with those guys. I love them up in Fort Mac. Great people up there. So I've got
Yeah.
a lot of good friends up there. So
Craig asks, where's Dave?
Dave, well, Dave was here a few minutes ago, but I think he's had enough. He's aloof, I guess is the word. So
Yeah. There's certainly some reactions there to your story. So thank you for sharing that. So that's the first gig. Now, in terms of, you have some interesting kind of experiences as well. So tell us, when you play, one person show where you literally are managing the lighting and the sound and everything, playing guitar and singing and to your MIDI track and all that kind of stuff. Any kind of unique story that popped out of that particular setup? Kind of.
uh yeah, I've had, the usual implosions of equipment on stage where you'll be playing and the place is going crazy and all of a sudden the dishwasher kicks in
Mm,
and you get a little voltage spike and then suddenly the laptop stops and you're standing there going, hmm? Uh, I've had incidents on stage just with, I think probably the biggest incidents I have, not so much technical stuff, but I do tend to get a lot of, I don't want this to sound negative, but I do get a lot of drunk guys who like to jump on stage.
mm,
Uh, when there's a band, there's usually a stage.
Mm-hmm.
and people will be less. They will not. They're less likely to jump on stage
Mm-hmm.
if they have to make that step up to the stage, or there's other band members up there.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm by myself, a lot of times it's like, nah, yeah, you set up over there and there is no stage and I'm on the level ground. I'll be playing away, people will just be dancing and they'll be backing up and their bum will hit the point of my mic stand
Mm-hmm.
and I get mic punched. Boom.
Oh no.
I've got a couple of them on video where I had a girl, she bumped into the mic stand. It punches me in the mic, and I kind of turn my head and I look at her. She turns around and she starts giving me hell because something touched her bum, and I'm
Mm.
like, "Well, that surely wasn't me." As I'm wiping my fat lip away, right? So, just those kind of accidents. People like to. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
as a solo. Here's the other thing. As a solo act, it's a lot cheaper to buy the band around of
Mm-hmm.
drinks.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got 4 or 5 in the band, people are less likely to do it. When you're one guy,
Mm-hmm.
it's a little more economical in their favor. So
Mm-hmm.
I will end up getting a few shots here and there. I have played inebriated.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's not something I'm proud of, but it does come with the job. My job is a booze salesman.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what the gist of what I do is. I'm an entertainer, but the first thing it says on my actual business card is booze salesman, because the more it doesn't matter what I do on stage, as long as I'm selling drinks. The
Mm-hmm.
more drinks I sell, the more money the bar makes, the more likely they'll have me back.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the business side of it. You look at it that way. It's if you, oh, here's something that I'm going to play this song, and uh, you don't want to do stuff for yourself. You do stuff for the crowd. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the songs I play. I am tired of playing them, but
Mm-hmm.
I will still pull out "Here for a Good Time" by Trooper every night
Yeah.
because I know that it works, and I'm not there for my ego. I'm there to make people happy, forget about their day, drink a lot, and to make the staff, especially, I really do care about the staff at the shows. Nothing makes me happier than finding out later at the end of the night that the girls, the bartenders made money
Mm-hmm.
when they make good tip money. Boy, Party Hog, we love it. When you play here, we make good tips. We make good tips. That's everything to me. That's really what I'm after. That's the compliment I'm fishing for
Yeah.
at the end of the night. So.
And part of that might be because you were actually in a different role at one point where you were the manager of an establishment, something like that. Tell us a bit about that, because that background probably round out your perspective as well, right?
It did. I'd done a lot of self promotion
Mm-hmm.
for many years, and you know, booking agents in the '80s, in the early '90s were necessary.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a Facebook, there wasn't a social media platform to do anything, so you had to rely on an agent. And a lot of the nightclubs would look at it this way too. They're like, I'm not going to take phone calls and deal with bands directly. I will instead deal with this agent,
Mm-hmm.
and the agent will supply me with good acts. So, I mean, I've been playing with bands that paid 15 and 20% for some agents as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So they will book you, but Dune, by the mid '90s, it started to dissipate a little bit. The gigs started drying up. And I started to look at it like, why am I giving these guys 15% of my money? I show up at the venue. I've paid thousands of dollars for fancy posters, and I show up and there's a bad black and white fax copy of my
Mm-hmm.
poster. And I would contact the agent and go, why didn't you send stuff out? Oh, that's not my job. Well, it is. You're representing me. You're taking my money and doing stuff to sit at your desk and make one phone call a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't justify the cost on that anymore. I decided to go independent. Well, going independent meant that you had to cut the ties with a few agents and stuff like that. And of course, that didn't work well in my favor in some rooms. I'd been playing, short story long, I'd been playing the Blackhorse Pub in Fort McMurray for about 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I had an agent who was booking me, and I won't mention their name, but they were lazy. They were making $5,000 to $6,000 a year off of me in commission,
Mm-hmm.
and I was the one booking the gig.
Mm-hmm.
I was the one picking the dates. They would take last year's contract and scratch out the 8-10 weeks that I'd played and put in a new date and put it back out. And I go, man, you did 10 minutes of work, but you made $5,000 out of it. So I complained to the bar. They asked me, well, what do we do? I said, look, this is a new option. Be an entertainment broker. Bring me in. I know hundreds of bands and acts. I know what to do. And I started running their website, their social media campaign. I took over their booking calendar. And I started to learn from the bar side of the business. I'd always been firmly in the musician camp. Once I got a taste of it from the bar side, I started to see like other things like professionalism. A band would show up and they would drink too much and spend 45 minutes on their breaks and then play a half an hour. Well, I'd have to get a hold of them and go, look, you guys, what are you doing? You can't be doing this. Oh yeah, well, whatever. You're one of us. Well, I might be one of you guys, but don't embarrass me. Do your job. Just do your job.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're getting paid to do. It did give me a little flavor to look at it from the bar side and understand that not everybody comes in with a great attitude. Not everybody comes in with a sellable marketing thing. I tried to help. So I gave up that job a few months ago. It was pretty stressful on my life. A few instances with bands and stuff, you try to be helpful, and other bands think that you're not letting them play the venue, when clearly you look at them and you go, well, you guys aren't ready. You're all still basement ready. You send me a video and you're all looking at each other playing. You're not looking at the audience. You need to play to the audience. You do not stand and look at each other. Oh yeah, that I see a band do that. It was like, nope, bottom of the list. You're not getting in here till you guys clean that up. So
you're looking for show, not just music, but
that's just it.
show, right?
You have to entertain. You cannot just be we sound great. Yeah, but you have to play great. You have to present great as well too. Otherwise, the gigs just aren't going to happen. The professional bands, there's some great ones in Edmonton. The Audibles, they always did awesome. Every time I booked Mandy and the boys up there, they did a fantastic job. Cam Basler, same thing. I had a lot of bands that I would bring up from Edmonton, and there's a lot of great Fort McMurray bands up there too. They'd come in and play them. They always did a great job, but sometimes you had to let a few people go and just say, it's nothing personal, it's business. And I never thought I would say that to another musician as a musician myself, but you do have to
well, you have a level of quality and experience that you're aiming at, and you want people to be playing at that level, right? So take us back in time, kind of like Back to the Future. You get to dial what year you want to go back. We have a number of videos that we can share. How far do you want to go back on this next video, Mike? I know you have. Shall we go back to Ozzy Osbourne, or maybe earlier?
Yeah, let's take it there. Let's take it there.
I will pull it up, but go ahead and introduce that clip when I pull it up.
You betcha. This is my Ozzy tribute band. Sadly, this video is from the very last show that we did at Tin Lizzie's on White Avenue, which used to be located right next to the Tim Hortons there. And it's basically me with my three-piece band. We did Ozzy as the tribute album. He had a tribute album that featured Randy Rhoads on it. So that was the era of Ozzy that we were going for, with the 1980s, early Ozzy, back when people were still scared of Ozzy. Now he's this buffoon, but back then it was. So we used to draw the tattoos on every night fresh. I would sit in the chair. We'd play the first set. We'd play the second set, run to the hotel room, sit down, dry off. And my bass player had 5 different colors of Jiffy marker felt pens. And he would actually draw the Blue Dragon freehand here, the Reaper there. He'd be doing one side, and I'd be doing the Sharon Rose on the arm and the Ozzy on the knuckles. I'd crawl in a coffin. They'd push the coffin out onto the dance floor, and I'd jump out, and away we go. And
full production. Let me know. Production. Let me know if the sound comes through.
You betcha. Coming out of the coffin. Yeah. This is so much fun. Phenomenal band I have as well too. So good, these players. Kind of got a little shot of the tattoos there. The famous Ozzy Randy Rhoads pose. That was Jake, my dove, a real live dove. He was my pet. I loved him. He used to pretend to bite his head off in that song, and everybody would, no! I'll have to tell you the quick story of this, what's going on in this part. This all seems so silly now. I'm eating raw beef kidneys there. That's yum. I'm a 3-foot beauty. Fine eye again. Biting the head off a rubber bat. That guitar player is now a professor at Selkirk College in Nelson, BC, a music professor. Oh, man. Oh, the Ozzy stare. Here we go. That's what it used to be like in the bars in the 80s. Lots of hair. Oh boy. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Time's gone by, hey?
Can I tell you a couple of quick stories about what you saw
Absolutely.
in there? The Jake was my bird. He was a live white dove that we got from a bird store in Calgary, and he became one of the most precious pets I ever owned. And I was hesitant to bring him into the bar the first time. We brought him down. I put him up into the lighting truss. I just sat him up on the top there, and we're like, okay, we'll see what happens to see how he reacts. Well, we started playing 2 songs. Then I heard this going on. What the hell is that? I turn around and I look, and my bird Jake had never ever made that sound before, and there he was up on top doing his little thing. He was happier than I'd ever seen him. So I would bring him down. I used to put him on my stage monitor in front. Girls would be dancing in front, and they would be like touching him. Oh, what a cute little bird. Then they'd take him away and they'd go sit at their table. Well, he'd come back 10 minutes later, all covered in glitter lipstick. So I used to take him in the show and pretend that I was going to bite his head off. Of course, I was never going to do this, but it's the old thing Ozzy had done years ago. So I would take him and put his head, and the faces on the dance floor, the audience reaction was just like absolute terror. You're not going to do that to that bird. I'd pull him out like, no, it's my buddy. So there's that. The other song there, Mr. Crowley. It's a song about Aleister Crowley. I had a movie makeup effect artist make me some props and stuff for the show. He made the bat. He made the 4-foot doobie for Flying High Again, and he made this skull. And we were playing a club in Edmonton. The skull, I took it out of its case, and it dropped on the floor. The skull cap broke off with the wig still attached. And I went, oh no, I broke my Crowley skull. And the bartender says, hey, you should put some spaghetti in there and eat that. And I went, that's a great idea. So I ran down to the superstore and started going, well, maybe I'll check out the meat department. So I went through the meat department and I look and I see raw beef kidneys. And I went, man, that kind of looks like almost like brains a little bit. So I bought a package. We put it inside the Crowley skull. We poured some of the fake blood on it. And I would come out with that, and during the guitar solo, sure enough, take the top of the skull cap off, scoop out the raw beef kidneys and start chewing little pieces off and throwing it into the audience, and like literally a raw meat food fight. it was a lot of fun to do. It was very effective visually. But by Saturday night, as we're packing our equipment up, we're having to wipe down every cable because it's covered in this sticky fake blood and raw meat stinking up the stage. It's just, it's so awful. But Dune, that was so much fun to do. It really was. The money was impeccable. We were fortunate enough to play the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary at the Beacon, the North Center Inn, one of the top rock rooms in the city. We did 7 nights there. And it was absolutely packed with everybody from all over the world every night. I distinctly remember the Norwegian luge team sitting in their tracksuits at the front table, losing their mind because although they were athletes, they were huge Ozzy fans. And it's some memories I'll never let go. I truly loved Ozzy at the time. Yeah.
Well, tell us about the A channel experience. I'm going to keep up that video here. So
sure.
If you could introduce that while I bring it up.
I joined a band called Joe Rockhead. Played with them for about 8-9 years. This is late in Joe Rockhead's career. We were asked, one of the band members, Rolly Poirier, was the songwriter, and he had written an album. We'd all worked on it, put it out, got a few decent gigs out of it, but then we got the call to come and perform on the A channel at the Big Breakfast Show at I think it was 7:50 a.m. So I got on the LRT with my bass guitar, which in the padded bag I carried it and looked very much like a rifle. So I took that LRT downtown, and when I got off the LRT, I had security waiting for me, and they're like, "What's in the bag?" And I'm like, "It's a bass guitar. I'm going on A channel." So we drank as much coffee as we could to get the energy up, and did our first song. The namesake song was Joe Rockhead. That was the name of the band, and it was kind of a little novelty tune that we had. Trying to get that energy up at 8 a.m. That wasn't easy, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I'll play the clip here. Again, let me know if the sound comes through.
It's time now for some music, ladies and gentlemen. They're here, they're awake, and they're going to rock it real hard. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our program, from their CD, What Are You Looking At, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Rockhead.
I'm playing bass.
Well, a two-tool king, man, looking real sharp. With a joint, no partying after dark. It's a real big secret where they're gonna go.
Oh, lost my hat.
It's a real fucking dude, and he goes by the name
Brontosaurus Burger.
There's a real fucking dude and he goes by the name of Joe. That's why I'm going to Joe Rockhead. Betty you will, but don't need to know. Joe Rockhead, and the wise don't need to know. Just where they're going to go.
I don't know why I'm wearing shorts when it's 8 degrees out.
Well, Fred and Bernie were pissed by two. Well, the
Life of the party was the great kazoo.
With a Brontosaurus burger and a chair. There's a real fucking dude and he goes by the name of Joe. That's why I'm going to Joe Rockhead. Daddy and Will, but don't need to know.
There we go. That was fun. Oh, not hearing you.
Sorry about that.
There
Can
we
you
go.
hear me now?
You betcha.
I muted myself to prevent any accidental kind of delayed sound coming back. So tell us, what's the next stop, sir? Next stop in terms of musical memory here. You have 38 years to cover. So
Oh boy.
let's dial that Back to the Future time machine there. What year do you want to go back?
Let's go back to the other early clips.
Mm-hmm.
Back when, when we were doing the Ozzy show, we noticed a lot less girls at the shows. And that was because things were changing. Whitesnake was very popular. Def Leppard, Poison, and they all dressed very pretty. So here I am running around covered in fake blood and, got my shirt off, a flabby guy, and it wasn't really conducive to a female audience.
Mm-hmm.
The scene was changing, so we decided to change with it, and we decided to clean up our act. We picked a sexy band name, 4 letters, RUEZ, and got a very sexy photo shoot done, embarrassing, and went out and started playing a lot of the commercial, more top 40 classic rock songs, White Lion, Def Leppard. We were one of the first bands playing Pour Some Sugar on Me. We played it for a year and a half before anybody else did, and then suddenly it came out as a single from the album. We'd already dropped the song by then. We were like sick and tired of playing it, and now everybody's like, hey, Pour Some Sugar on Me. Do you know that one? Boy, okay, another 2 years of playing it. Here we go. But yeah, fun band, but back in the good-looking days, that's for sure.
So I'll share it here. So again, let me know if the sound comes through. I'll be off the camera
I
here.
think we got some Def Leppard in this video clip. I think, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I was ready for rehab, and Thin was in. So that's when it all
This is from my
changed.
movie. These are clips from
This
the
is
movie.
what I like
That's
to
right.
call the Whitesnake syndrome.
Is this the right video?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's from my Party Hog movie biography that I did. I kind of did some highlight packages a little bit.
R-U-E-Z. Ruiz. Yeah, I know. I came up with that band name too. It was more like, are you pretty? Damn! Damn, that's embarrassing. Yeah, well, the makeup girl drew an upper lip on me at least.
There's
So
my bird
no
Jake
girl would
sitting
come out
on
and
the-
see a guy covered
sitting on
in
the
blood and
monitor
snot. So we went for the pretty boy gig.
there. Londonderry. That's now the Century Casino. I really like to flip my hair back then. Still have that guitar. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, you might want to pull it there. No. Sorry. I always, my apologies. I always like to change the lyrics to songs. I had been doing it for years and I never got it out of my system. It was just take a chance. It's like, is anybody listening? So I'll sing a line that's not in the song and just to see if anybody is actually listening or not. And then you do it once, you get the reaction, and then it's like, oh, now I got to do that line every time. So
Yeah, it becomes a habit.
oh boy, the hair flippy days, wee.
Yeah, so that was 1989. Let's go to another time. Let's get it back into that time machine there. Let's dial a different number, not 2020. Let's go.
Yep.
What year would you like to? What video? Actually,
Trying to recall what else I
you did
sent
some Cam Loop stuff, TV appearance.
Oh,
there.
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Did,
I moved back. I grew up in Kamloops as a kid, and the local TV station was always this magnificent place that I always looked up to. They had the radio. I remember my dad taking me there when I was a kid to see the DJ, and I fell in love with the building. I moved back to Kamloops about 2002, I do believe it was, and was fortunate enough to make to get on the midday show. It's called with the host Larry Reid. I think the performance I sent you was "Oh Darling" by the Beatles. That was my very first appearance on that show, and I do believe that I did about 34 more appearances on that noon show. It was a lot of fun. Larry was a great guy, and this is the hardest song I have to sing.
All right. Well, let's check it out.
All right, Mike, the Party Hog. Right now I'm at day.
Oh, darling, please believe me. I'll never do you no harm. Believe me when I tell you, I'll never do you no harm. If you leave me, I'll never make it alone. Believe me when I beg you, I'll never do you no harm. When you told me you didn't need me anymore, well, you know, I nearly broke down and cried. When you told me you didn't need me anymore, well, you know, I nearly broke down and died. Oh, darling, if you leave me, I'll never make it alone. Believe me when I tell you, I'll never do you no harm. Believe me, darling. When you told me, you didn't need.
Awesome.
Ouch. Thank you. That was a lot of fun doing that show. That's for sure. We used to, I always did 2 songs at the end of the noon segment, and we got to a point where I was starting to run out of songs. I'd been on the show so many times. It was that, and I would put it out there. Here's my website. Go look at my song list. And the second song was always a request. I'd get somebody to phone in during the commercial break and do a request. But Larry Reid from that show, he had me on. I think it was about the 5th or 6th time I was on the show. And he said to me, he goes, you should have a reality show. And I went, that's a great idea. And I thought, yeah, maybe I could piece something together to get a little engagement, maybe make that happen somewhat. I started mentioning it to a few gigs and that, and they said, yeah, it'd be nice to see if you could put a little movie together. Well, I spent about a year and a half putting this official Party Hog movie. It's a 75-minute long self-made documentary biography. People tell me they watch it, they enjoy it. There's a couple of things in there I really would like to snip out. I'm embarrassed I put it in. I don't know why. A couple of clips, but I would like to clean it up a little bit. But still, I can't personally watch it myself. It's too embarrassing. It's so cheesy, but people love the cheesy part of it, I guess. It's got a lot of old video clips, pictures, road stories, basically the whole career of how the Party Hog came to be, but and a lot of driving road clips, things like that as well too. Some Spinal Tap moments I've been fortunate enough to catch on tape as well. So
you bet. Thank you for sharing that. Now, do you want to take us to the? You did some commercials that runs for 90 days or something like that. Is that something that you want to share at this point, or?
Yeah.
So talk about it. I'm going to keep it up.
I think which commercial? This would be the Small World commercial. Am I right?
It says official Party Hog commercial.
Oh, the Party Hog commercial. That's right. This is the I would make a donation of a gig to the radio to the TV station, and in exchange for the donation of the gig, they gave me a commercial. They produced a commercial, and they had this huge production thing that they wanted to do with a couple of cameras and that. And I said, no, I'm here. I brought 15 cue cards. Let's just go out in the back alley and do this like Bob Dylan did. and we literally were done this in 10 minutes. We shot it twice, I think. Went inside. I did the voiceover for it in one take. And they said, okay, fine. I said, when's it going to be on? Oh, it'll be on Global TV and CFJC and all these stations and that. Well, dude, I got to tell you, I'm sitting there Sunday night, 9:00. They run on Global. They ran The Simpsons. They ran the beginning part of The Simpsons, and then it fades to black. And the very first commercial that popped up, was mine. I absolutely lost it. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, this was fun to do.
Well, yeah. There you go. Let me know if you hear the sound.
One man, one guitar, one good reason to get out and party. Mike the Party Hog, a.k.a. the Festive Swine, is back on the road in Western Canada and coming to a party near you. Over 3 hours of live music, classic rock, pop rock, and the blues, with some crazy comedy. Plus a great family show available too.
Yeah.
When you need live entertainment for bar, beach, corporate, or house party, check out my website at partyhog.com for more information.
Yeah, that's literally the back alley behind the TV station there. Yeah. So, yeah, that was.
So you're
fun.
into everything. You're into promotion, commercial, talk shows, and you name it, right? It's been a long 38 years of diversity, hey?
I've been fortunate enough when I was working at the radio or the recording studio there at Small World Studios in Kamloops. We did a lot of commercials, lots of commercial work. So I've done a few voiceovers for things like that. I used to produce a lot of my own commercials for the radio station up in Fort McMurray as well too. So, but yeah, I always had that thought. Well, hey, I can do that. Let me give it a try, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, on the topic of commercials, you also have this thing called the World Studio, Small World Studio. Tell us about that while I cue that up.
Yeah, that's the fun one. Yeah, we did the same thing. We gave some time to the station, some studio time to the station. They gave us a commercial, and this is with Henry Small. He was the lead singer in a Canadian band called Scrubble Cane, which featured guitarist Paul Dean from Loverboy and Jim Kelt, I think, from the Guess Who. This is all pre-Loverboy. Henry then went on to sing with Burton Cummings on a tour. Then he got hired as the lead singer in Prism, who replaced Ron Tabak, the original lead singer. They had 2 albums that were released in the States. Then he went on to join the John Entwistle Band, from the bass player from The Who. He did an album with him and a tour with him as well too. Came back to Kamloops, worked at a radio station. The ironic thing is this very first concert I ever saw was Burton Cummings at Memorial Arena in Kamloops, and this guy Henry Small was he was the lead singer, or the backup lead singer and violin player, and I remembered him distinctly from that moment on. And ironically, 30 years later, I'm working in his recording studio, and there's a picture of him and Burton Cummings above the mixing board from that show. So it was great. I loved working with Henry. He was a great guy. I played in his band for a couple of years. But yeah, we had fun doing this little commercial here.
Let me know if you can hear the sound.
Okay.
If your career is in the toilet, Small World Studios wants to help you with your next recording. You may be asking, what kind of music do we record? Blues. We do that.
Oh, I think just that YouTube clip for some reason is not happy with something right now. So yeah, while it's searching and hunting there, we'll I suppose I could just refresh and see if we're lucky that way. Sometimes that
if your career is in the toilet, Small World Studios wants
Okay, we'll
help you
hold
with
on.
your next recording. You may be asking, what kind of music?
Oh, is that one being so finicky?
Yeah, so we'll worry about this later. But
Okay.
so tell us now. We're gonna land on the time machine here on Back to the Present again. We're back to the present, 2020 September. Your CD music release party. Tell us about that when I cue that while I cue that up.
I've been working on kind of revamping my original CD. I made a terrible marketing mistake. And when I recorded my original CD, I thought I would take the two most popular names in the world, Elvis Presley and Jesus Christ. And I named my project Elvis Christ. And I thought it was funny. I found a velvet painting picture of Elvis as Jesus as the cover, and I gave the album even a Homer Simpson nod. It was called Sacrilegious. I thought it was clever. I thought it was marketing genius. I gave it out to some record companies, some radio stations, and the feedback immediately was, no, not going to be taking those phone calls. Dumbest band name ever. You made a big mistake. I pulled it offline, and I just I never even printed a CD from it as well. I've been carrying it around for a little while, and it's something I just wanted to revisit. I went back. I've redone one guitar solo. I've fixed the original song, or the opening song, Believe. And I just want to remix a little bit and remaster it and re-release it, just so that way, just again for my own ego, so I can actually have a hard copy CD for once of it. And so I keep putting off the release date, the re-release date, but hoping to get it out here sometime in September. Just to complete the loop. I felt like I never completed the loop when I put my own music out. It was something I wanted to share with everybody, but it was a stupid name I chose. And so now it'll be released under the name Mike Braniff. The album will be called The Ballad of Elvis Christ. Mm-hmm. And it does have a theme. There is a theme that goes through the songs in order. My brother Jaden wrote a screenplay to go along with it. It's basically the album story is of rock star worship. Mm-hmm. People who worship rock stars. Obviously, I use kind of the religion and musical rock star element. My vision was that Jesus was the first rock star. Mm-hmm. So this was kind of playing on that with it, mm-hmm. and playing on fame, real fame, fake fame, deserved fame, undeserved fame, mm-hmm. and eventually this artist becomes famous, and quickly his career dies, and he's looking for his muse. He's looking to reconnect again. Who is it? What is it that gave me this music that made people love me? and then it was gone. So it's a loose theme that goes throughout the entire album that way, but I'm pretty proud of it. I played everything on it. It's all mine. So
Well, congratulations on the almost ready to be released here, and looking forward to seeing your CD release party in September of this year.
that'd be great. That's it. There's the track listings and all that there. So I do believe that's still the old version of the album I've got on the site there. But yeah, it'll see another day. That's for sure.
So tell us, 38 years in this music business, from that very first day that could have been very much the basis for a country music career, but you evolve into many different variations over the years. And any final kind of story or sentiments that you'd like to share with our viewers, who has been, we've seen close to 30 viewers on live, which is quite a bit for, people are busy, right? So a lot of people watch this after as well. So as we sort of round the corner here, any stories to share, or any advice to give?
Advice.
Advice.
You love to offer some advice.
You have survive and thrive in a very, very difficult business. This thing called music business, right? So lots of lessons to share, I'm sure.
The people have said to me a lot, how is it you're working all the time? Well, up until this COVID hit, but how is it you're working all the time? How is it you keep getting repeat gigs? And the advice I would like to offer all my fellow musicians is, don't make it about yourself. When you're at the gig, say hi to the staff, be friendly to the staff. 9 times out of 10, the person that hired you to play that bar, the bar manager, is not there to see you. They are at home with their wife and kids. They depend on the feedback from the bartenders and the servers. Hey, how was that band last night? How'd that guy do? The numbers were good. The numbers were kind of bad. They're going to want to get their feedback from the staff. And if you've been a jerk that's like, hey, tap, tap, tap on the bar. Hey, I need a Pepsi. I need a water. I need a this. Or you just are in general not friendly. It will come back and bite you in the butt. I used to do something. Admittedly, I wasn't a very good tipper. I was a poor tipper. There came a time when I started to realize, if they're going to cut my bar tab in half, there was a bar in the city here. They used to take 50% off of my tab. I'd have a $40 bar tab. They'd chop it to 20. I'd give them $40. And that went so far. It was money out of my own pocket going out that I didn't really have or couldn't afford. But I looked at it as an investment in the future, and that it was like the attitude would be, instead of, this guy and his friends, his cheap friends who come in and they want water and coffee and they never tip, nothing like that. It went from being that attitude to like, 20. Wow, nobody ever tips me that. The bands never tip me this. The musicians never tip me that. And they remember that, and it's like, we like that guy. And in a way, it's kind of crappy because you feel like you're buying their love and affection to a certain degree, but you're showing them respect. They're there to do a job. And I have had friends of mine, and I've told them, I said, look, you come out to see me, you tip. You pull any shenanigans, like let's not pay our tab. Let's leave a nickel for a tip. I've told them, you guys pull any of that stuff at my show, never come to see me again, because I don't need my staff disrespected. And I tell you, Dune, that's been the one thing that's been the biggest change in my career in the last 20 years. When I started to treat the staff and really get to know them, I would take my phone out and I would go, Sarah, blonde curly hair. I would start to Woody, older bartender, English accent, things like that. So that way, when I came back, I'd look and I go, okay, give it a little heads up. Who's that? I'd walk in. I go, hey, Woody. Hi, Sarah. And they'd look at me like, he hasn't been here in 3 months. How the hell does he remember our names?
You know,
Just a little tricks like that,
you were
like
doing,
go a long way.
you were doing what the many big corporations and entrepreneurs refer to as CRM, right? Customer relationship management. It sounds like a big word, CRM, but really the idea is if your memory is not perfect and not photographic, you can't remember everything. And if it's valuable to remember it, you figure a way, right? It sounds like you did, low tech as it was. You found a way to be able to recall key things that allows people to feel like you value their presence and their contributions.
And value the gig as well too. Another thing that I frequently did, I printed up my own thank you cards. And when I did a Saskatchewan tour a few years back, I was doing 4 or 5 one-nighters in a week. Small towns, never the big cities, always the small towns. I love playing the small towns, 1,000 population, 800 population. I would play their local hotel, and I would already have their thank you card ready to go, printed, stamped. And I would literally, as I was driving away from the hotel, I'd find the nearest mailbox. I'd put it in their mailbox. And they would get their thank you card from me 48 hours later. Now, I would hear back, they say, come back and play, come back and play. I'd come back to play. I'd go into the office to get paid. And sure enough, I'd look up on the wall and there was my thank you card hanging on the wall from the previous gig. And I'd see that and I go, that's why I'm here again. That's why they had me back. Little things that, you can light your hair on fire and run around on stage. But if you're a jerk to the staff, what are you doing? You have to have respect for everything that you're doing, as well as the talent in the show. Respect the audience, and you'll go far. You'll go far.
That's awesome. I just glanced over here. There's 30 viewers who are viewing live right now. 30 viewers, and we're 30 minutes over time. By the way, this is roughly speaking 50-minute show. We're about 30 minutes over time, and some of the viewers from the very beginning are hanging on here.
That's awesome.
30 people on live right now, and I'm sure many more hundreds will watch after this. As we wrap this, what was supposed to be an hour, which is now look like an hour and a half, as we wrap up this conversation, very fun conversation with lots of videos and lots of stories, time machine of sort. We're going back and forth through your 38 years career in music, and lots of insights to share. As we wrap it up, any final kind of words to share with our viewers before we kind of call it a wrap? Just
to stay the course. Things are changing. I'm starting to see a little bit of the writing on the wall as to how things are going to play out the next year. So I'm hopeful that our scene can come back, that we can step into the bars and play again. I'm concerned over, I know that when I sing, I tend to spit a little bit, comes out, and I'm hoping that I hope that will change. If not, then we'll have to look at other things. If we can't do shows in this venue, then maybe we'll try something else. I'm starting to realize that maybe some gigs will still remain for me in the future in a lot of the bars and pubs. I hope it does. I love working with the staff and I miss them. They're all friends of mine. However, I do see that the future might end up being backyards, patios, basement shows, much like I'm doing, more intimate things, just to try and keep that entertainment ball rolling. I'm stubborn. I will not give up. I just will not stop. Doing the basement show now was a creative outlet just to kind of help me perform, or I'd go crazy. And it's been a great way to keep my brand out there, to keep the name going, to have some fun. I'm having so much fun doing it. And it's a challenge to write the show every week. It really is. That's been the fun part too. So I have to admit, Dune, even if I do end up getting all my bar gigs back, there's going to be a big part of me that's really going to miss doing the basement show. and wanting to just keep doing it. It's so much fun, and doing it live. That's the coolest part.
Yeah.
That fly by the seat of your pants. You know, I have not had my batteries die in my wireless unit for my guitar more than 3 times in 10 years, but I've done 10 basement shows now, and I've had my wireless guitar batteries die 3 times already. Now, you think I'd be smart enough to put fresh batteries in, but you've got so many other things that you're putting in place for the show that you forget, and you're halfway through a song, and all of a sudden, where'd my guitar go?
The viewers now and later, definitely check out Mike's basement show. I mean, you have everything going. Awesome stage lighting that I just transitioned perfectly, and video and audio and background, and just basically high production value, and very entertaining, and very awesome. And here's a thought for you: as much as it is, quote unquote basement, you never know. It's becoming global basement, right? So people all over the world can enjoy your show. People all over the world can interact, and who knows, you might resonate with people outside of Edmonton, in other countries, even much more than you ever imagined. So who knows? The basement show could be the new kind of global hit that's gonna.
I had somebody check in from Florida last weekend on the show saying they were enjoying it from Florida. I know out in the East Coast, Nova Scotia has been tuning in every weekend as well too. That's been a really fun element of it is people that haven't been able to see you before, they kind of see what's going on, and they're not going to get to a live show, but at least they can still engage and take part in some of the fun and the comments. I love doing the show. When the show's over, we watch the show once, and then we watch the show the second time again with the comments. The first time we watched the show is to see how we did, and then after that, then it's more fun. It's like, okay, that was a good show. Now let's watch it with the comments too. Mm-hmm. So it's really been it's been fun. My partner Rosemary she's the one behind the scenes doing all of the. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. She is the voice of Semenko Dave. She's running all the sound effects. She's running the video production with 3 cameras with an iPad. She starts the songs. I can't. It's fun to work with her on the show, and it's been a blast. It really has been. She's terrific at it behind the scenes. We both like Kramer. We're stressed. A couple of minutes before the show starts, it's like, oh geez, and then something little happen, a boo boo will happen, and the two of us are mortified. Oh no, how could that have? Oh no, and then we watch the show back, and then we know this boo boo is coming up. The boo boo happens, and it's like, well, that was funny, and we'll look at each other and laugh like. That totally worked. Yeah. Like, so the things that you think are going bad, you watch it again later, you go, no, that totally fits. So I'm blessed. She's been great to work with. And so it just had to let people know, it wasn't really my cat, Semenko Dave, who's really behind the scenes tapping the buttons and stuff. And just think, there's a couple of people out there who really think my cat can talk.
So, I can't believe it, Mike. Here we are, an hour. What is it? 35 minutes overrun from our 55-minute show, and 30 people are still live here, just commenting. I want to share a few comments here. Joanne says, "Mike Braniff, world domination from his basement to yours."
Thank you, Joanne.
Andrew Crank says, the basement show is great. And Mike, you're the best entertainer I've seen. Really enjoy you. Play many different venues over the years, and we'll continue to watch you play for years to come. So you have Andrew. Lots and lots of fans, my friends, and people certainly appreciate this broadcast here. So let's see if we can wrap it up again. So
when you have champion
watching, right? It's hard to wrap it up. So Mike, take us out in however you like, whatever way you like.
I'd like to say thanks for having me on here today. I really appreciate it. While I've been watching you, I've been secretly snooping your rack behind you because I am a bit of a gear porn guy. I love vintage gear and stuff, and that I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today and having some fun. Thanks for the comments. I miss everybody a lot. Hope to see get choked up. Hope to see you guys soon. Can't thank you all enough for all the support. You guys are sticking with me. I mean, just kind of disappeared there for a little bit, and it's hard getting back at it. But the fact that you guys tune in every weekend and watch me and say hi and send me a few tips to help, keep the show going. I do this for you guys, and I truly appreciate everything I've been blessed given for this career. I couldn't be happier. It's been quite the ride, and like I said, I'm stubborn. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm just gonna keep doing it. If I gotta stand on a street corner, and that's what I'll end up doing someday. But yeah, well, see you on Saturday nights again. I'm going to be doing the 2010 decade of music. The 2000s decade of music, and then after that, I'm going to do an acoustic basement show. And then on June 13th is going to be my 55th birthday, and I'm doing the basement show that day. And I'm torn between doing my original songs or just my own personal request set list. So gonna have some fun that day too. Might even have a couple of drinks on the show, being that it is my birthday that day. So well, Mike, again, thanks. I really appreciate all the support and love, and I hope to entertain everybody until I can't anymore.
Well, thank you so much, Mike, for investing all the 38 years career into music, into your community, into your fellow music lovers, and now into the unknown of post-COVID, soon to be here, and see how that plays out. I must say, Mike, that was the first time anybody complimented on me on my rack there. But
that's a nice rack.
Thank you.
Had to say it.
So with that, again, we really appreciate you spending time with us today and sharing all the stories and insights, and just have a wonderful journey as you navigate through this COVID and post-COVID time, Mike, and best of luck to you. And so to our viewers, thank you for tuning in now and later. And you have been listening to Mr. Mike Braniff, the one and only, the Party Hog. What do you got there? Official Party Hog. There you go. You should sell those. Maybe that's another.
I have.
For you.
Yeah,
okay, there you
got
go.
a few jerseys for sale, T-shirts and stuff. Well, next year we'll get back up into that stuff for next year. But hot sauces are going good right now. I got a lot of hot sauces for sale still. So thanks again, everybody. Thank you very much, Dune. It's been very much fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Wonderful. Again, to our viewers, thank you so much. And until we meet again, take good care of yourself, take good care of one another, and have a wonderful remainder of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.